Tonight, we delve into the shadows of forgotten places where the echoes of the past whisper dark secrets. These are not mere tales, but accounts of those who dared to explore what lies hidden in the urban decay. So dim the lights and let's uncover these true urban exploration horror stories. Story 1. The Hospital on Haunted Hill. In the heart of a bustling city lies a decrepit hospital, abandoned after a mysterious fire claimed several lives. Its charred remains house stories of unexplained phenomena and sightings of spectral figures wandering its halls. Our first story follows a group of thrill-seekers who ventured into this haunted ruin one fateful night. Armed solely with flashlights and a camera, the group of explorers skillfully navigated past the rusted gates of the abandoned hospital. As they ventured through the building's ashy corridors, the beams from their flashlights intermittently illuminated the haunting remnants of a tragic fire, scorched walls, distorted and melted medical equipment, and wards heavy with the stench of decay and abandonment. While these sights were disheartening, it was not the visual remnants that instilled the deepest fear. Instead, it was the eerie sounds that filled the desolate halls, a series of soft, pained moans that resonated through the empty spaces. These moans, sorrowful and unnerving, seemed to grow louder and more desperate with each step they took deeper into the hospital. The chilling sounds seemed almost to beckon them, pulling them further into the darkness, as if the hospital itself was alive with the echoes of its dismal past. In the desolate maternity ward of the abandoned hospital, a chilling cold enveloped the air, defying explanation. As the explorers progressed, their equipment faltered under mysterious forces. Their camera, though glitching, managed to capture brief glimpses of shadowy figures lurking in the periphery. More haunting still, their audio recorder picked up the unmistakable sound of infant cries echoing through the halls, cries that belonged to no living child in that forsaken place. Driven by a mix of terror and determination, the group continued their uneasy journey down the dilapidated corridor. Suddenly, their path was halted by a harrowing vision. A ghostly figure clad in a nurse's attire roamed the hallway. Her movements were eerie, yet purposeful, as if she were still tending to her charges, unseen and long forgotten by the world outside. This spectral nurse, trapped in her endless routine, cast a profound silence over the group, compelling them to retreat from the palpable despair. The explorers hurriedly retreated, eager to distance themselves from the horrors that pervaded the abandoned hospital. As they left, the chilling sounds and sights that they had witnessed lingered in their minds, a haunting reminder that not all forgotten places welcome intrusion. In the days that followed, the memories of their harrowing experience clung to them like a cold shadow. Conversations about what they had seen and heard replayed continuously, each retelling a stark warning of the perils they had narrowly escaped. The haunting realization that some mysteries are too dark and deep for the living to unravel weighed heavily on their spirits. This encounter served as a grim lesson. Some thresholds are not meant to be crossed, and some secrets are so burdensome that they corrupt the very air where they linger. In seeking the thrill of the unknown, the explorers had stumbled upon a truth that some realms, shrouded in shadow and sorrow, are best left undisturbed. Story 2. The Factory of Lost Souls. Our next tale takes us to an old industrial town, where a factory once thrived. After a catastrophic accident that buried workers alive, the factory was shuttered, its machinery left to rust. Local legend tells that the workers' spirits are still trapped, eternally laboring in the afterlife. A team of urban explorers, drawn by the tales of ghostly workers, entered the factory one night. Inside, they found equipment inexplicably operational, as if the ghostly workforce had just taken a brief respite. The explorers wandered deeper, drawn by the rhythmic pounding of the old machinery, until they reached the heart of the factory. Within the heart of the forsaken factory, the atmosphere grew oppressively thick, laden with an air of despair so tangible it seemed to cling to their very skins. As the explorers ventured deeper, the dim light from their flashlights revealed shadows that moved on their own accord, independent from any discernible source. Amidst the eerie silence, whispers began to saturate the air, pleas for help and cries for release that seemed to emanate from the very walls of the factory itself. One of the explorers, caught off guard by a sudden icy chill that swept through the cavernous space, spun around. There, standing just inches away, was the apparition of a factory worker. The ghostly figure was as real as the fear gripping the explorer's heart, its hand outstretched, worn and warped by years of labor and unseen tragedies. In that moment, the barrier between past and present blurred as the phantom sought contact, a plea from beyond for acknowledgement and perhaps liberation. The encounter was too much. The team ran from the factory, the echoes of the trapped souls following them out into the night. The factory remained standing, a monument to those lost, its ghostly occupants forever clocking in. Story 3. The subway's silent scream. Beneath the city's bustling streets lies an older, now abandoned subway line, closed after a derailment led to a catastrophic collapse. Rumors of survivors who turned to cannibalism to stay alive turned the tunnels into a place of macabre fascination. A lone explorer, renowned for her unyielding courage, descended into the murky depths of the long-abandoned subway. Each step she took into the labyrinthine tunnels seemed to draw her further from the world of light and life above. The air around her grew noticeably colder with each descent, the silence of the underground world becoming almost tangible, pressing against her senses. Her flashlight, a meager defense against the engulfing darkness, struggled to pierce the overwhelming blackness that enveloped her. The only sound that accompanied her was the echo of her own footsteps, bouncing off the damp, cold walls of the tunnel, creating a rhythm that seemed both a comfort and a reminder of her isolation. This stark soundscape underscored the solitude of her journey, amplifying the sense of foreboding that the shadows might at any moment come alive with the whispers of the past. Suddenly, a scream, a human scream, desperate and terrifying, shattered the silence. It seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere. The explorer, heart racing, recorded everything as she followed the screams to their source. What she found was chilling, a collapsed section of the tunnel, beyond which faint, desperate scratching could be heard, as if someone, or something, was still trying to escape. She hastily retreated, the harrowing screams echoing through the tunnel behind her, a sinister soundtrack to her hurried escape. Later, when reviewing the footage, she discovered it captured more than she had seen with her own eyes. It showed fleeting glimpses of figures lurking in the shadows, their forms barely discernible, watching her every move with an unsettling intent. These apparitions in the darkness underscored a chilling reality. The tunnel was more than a mere structure. It was a crypt housing the grim legacy of its past tragedies. Now, the entrance to the subway tunnels is permanently sealed, a somber monument to the unknown and horrific events that transpired in their depths. These chilling encounters serve as a stark reminder. Not all thresholds are meant to be crossed. Sometimes, the doors that lead us to the forgotten and shadowy recesses of history are best left closed, preserving the peace of the present by leaving the past undisturbed. These stories remind us that some doors, particularly those that lead to the past's darkest corners, should sometimes remain closed. For in the world of urban exploration, curiosity doesn't just kill the cat, it haunts it too.